Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Masterpiece Lounge. I am your hostess, certified life coach, author, and speaker, Chrisnatha DeRozier. I am so excited because here we are, the very last Masterpiece Lounge segment in this year, okay? Because we will be back, all right? So let's make sure that that's clear. I am excited. We have had so much amazing topics that we covered this year. We have had incredible discussions, and I am just so excited. We've had amazing guests, and I truly feel like we've had very necessary dialogue. And so today is no different whatsoever. I want to start off again by telling you that I am so proud of you. A lot has happened this year, but you did not give up. You kept pressing forward and you kept pushing toward the mark. I am so proud of you. And you should be very excited about your progress, about your ability to deal with adversity and keep going. That is major. And here we are today. And it's no accident. So we have an amazing topic, I think, which will be great to kind of close us out. And so let's just get into it. So we're going to be talking about financial wellness and budgeting for the upcoming new year. And so empowering financial wellness and budgeting for the new year does involve some systematic approach to managing your finances, setting achievable goals. And I want to share some steps that's going to definitely help you along in this process. And so for all my note takers, go ahead and get ready. I have about 10 steps I want to share with you, right? And also, if you are tuning in, let us know in the chat where you're tuning in from. I love to see where everyone is located. And I love the engagement as well. So let's hop right in. So number one, in terms of financial wellness and budgeting, is assessing your current financial situation. It's so important that we are honest about where we are so that we can plan for where we want to be. So this means I want you to take some time, right? And I want you to review your income sources. How many streams of income do you have? Where are they coming from, right? And I want you to really write this down. This is important. I want you to review your expenses. Now, this is something that many of us don't do anymore. I was guilty as well, and I started doing this, and it completely changed some of my expenses and the way that I spend money. Is to pull out that good old bank statement, right? A lot of us see it, but we don't really go through it line item by line item, right? And so review your income sources, review your expenses, right? Look at your bank statement. It'll tell you a lot. Look at your debt. Get specific and clear about what you owe to who and how much to the cent. Okay. Look at your savings. How much do you have in savings? How much do you want to have in savings, right? So you have to start with where you are, and that is being completely authentic and honest and transparent, even with yourself. And also your investments, all right? So review all of those things, your income sources, your expenses, your debt, and savings and investments. Then I want you to understand your spending patterns. Do you spend when you're stressed? Do you spend when you're excited? Do you spend when you are sad, right? I want you to do this by examining the bank statements, like we mentioned, and your receipts to track where your money goes. Where does your money go? Where your money goes, that's where your heart is, right? That's where your heart is. That's what you're most connected to. And so we have to be honest about that. And listen, you can't argue the facts, right? And so pull out those statements and receipts and let's really have an honest moment with ourselves. So assess your current financial situation. And if you don't like it, there's room for improvement. But we have to first start with where we are. Number two is to set clear financial goals. Define short-term and long-term financial goals for yourself, such as paying off debt, building an emergency fund, saving for a major purchase like a car or a home. For some of us, that's retirement or investing. And so set some clear financial goals. And remember, we talked about this in a previous segment. When you are setting goals, you want to use the SMART goal metrics, right? Be specific, make sure you can measure your goals Is it achievable, right? Is it relevant? And what's the deadline on those goals? And so you want to make sure that you're using the SMART goal metrics to set those goals. But yes, definitely define those short and long-term financial goals for yourself. I want you to make sure, again, that your goals are specific, right? That they're measurable. What does that mean? That you can say, my financial goal is to save $10,000. So you can measure 10,000, right? Instead of saying, I just want to save more. Okay, so that's just an example. Achievable, relevant, and time bound, right? There's a deadline attached. Those are the SMART goal metrics to use when setting your goals. Number 3 is to create a realistic budget. Okay, guys, I know that this is a bad word for some of you, the B word. This is the B word for some of you, and it is budget. Based on the assessment that you've made while you were reviewing all of your bank statements, receipts, right? Create a detailed budget that aligns with your financial goals. Now, I want you to think about this. There are some things that you may have to eliminate. There are some subscriptions some of us have that we really don't need if we're honest, but you won't really recognize it or notice it sometimes unless you're really combing through those bank statements and receipts. So look over those statements and say, where am I spending my money? Do I go out every day and get a cup of coffee, right? Can I sacrifice that for a financial goal that I have? Or for just a time, right? What are some things I can do differently? Are there some subscriptions that I don't even pay attention to or use, right? That I can eliminate that can help me now take those funds and put them towards my emergency fund, right? So take some time and really, really evaluate what's working, what's not working, what you need, what you don't need, and create a realistic budget for you. Allocate funds for essential expenses, housing, utilities, groceries. For some of us, that's paying down debt, making sure that we're saving. And there's definitely some miscellaneous spending as well, right? There's some of the extra stuff, like we want to dine out sometimes, okay? You don't have to completely say no to that unless you choose to, but maybe you want to just put a cap on that, right? Entertainment, so forth. So live within your means. You can add some wiggle room for some entertainment, but you have to be reasonable because the budget needs to be realistic for you. Okay. All right. Number 4 is to track and monitor your expenses. Use budgeting tools or apps to track your spending regularly. This will help you stay accountable and make adjustments as needed. I won't tell you what apps to use, but there's a lot of apps and tools. So definitely do some research and see what's going to make more sense for you. Identify areas where you can reduce unnecessary expenses and redirect funds toward your financial goals. Again, this is not a fun exercise at all, right? Because normally we don't want to make any changes, but sometimes it's very necessary. And I was always told that it's okay to make a temporary sacrifice for a long-term gain. Okay, so think about the end goal and adjust where necessary. Number 5, establish an emergency fund. In today's world, things are happening all of the time. You may lose your job. There might be a change, right? In work. I mean, there's so many things going on, and we need to make sure that we have funds for emergencies. So aim to build an emergency fund to cover unexpected expenses, or any financial setbacks, right? Because anything can happen. Start with a small amount and gradually build it to cover at least 3 to 6 months worth of your living expenses. There are some experts in the field that say start with 1,000. Nothing wrong with starting there. Just don't stop there, right? But just keep going and adding to it as you see fit. You can do automatic transfers to a separate savings account to make your consistent contributions to your emergency fund. I have found that has been the most consistent, helpful way for me personally to save when it's being automatically scheduled and sent to my savings account. So that way I am not spending what I should be saving, right? So that might be something that would be super helpful for you. You can even do this with your direct deposit, with your paychecks. You can set up for a certain percentage to go to your main checking and then another percentage to go to a savings account. Therefore, you are automatically saving all of the time. Number 6, manage and reduce debt. I want you to develop a strategy to manage and pay off your debt systematically. You got to be very strategic about this. So you're going to prioritize the high interest debt while making minimum payments on the others. I want you to consider con oh my goodness, I can't say the word, debt consolidation. There you go. Consider debt consolidation, or even negotiating, right, with your creditors to reduce interest rates if it is feasible. Again, let me make this disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor, right? I am just simply sharing some tips to help you on your journey of financial wellness. Okay. So yes, definitely talk to your financial advisor if you have one, but consider debt consolidation. You don't have to do it, but consider it. Find out all of the information, the facts, the pros, the cons, right? And see if that is a good option for yourself. But you need a strategy. You need a strategy, be strategic. Number 7 is save and invest wisely. Automate your savings by setting up direct deposits into your savings or investment accounts, like we stated earlier. But you also need to research your investment options, right? Such as your retirement account, stocks, your bonds, mutual funds, all the things that align with your financial goals and your risk tolerance, because that looks different for everyone. Again, reach out to a professional who is definitely an expert in investments who can really help you understand it more. But those are some things you want to consider. Definitely do your research. Number 8, review and adjust regularly. So periodically, I want you to review your budget and financial goals to track your progress. You can do this at the end of each month. You can do this at the end of each quarter, but set up a reminder and a time to really look at what you've done in the last 90 days, what needs to be adjusted, what needs to be eliminated, right? So you get to do that at the end of whatever time that you set, so that you're not waiting 12 months to look at where you are and the progress you're making. I want you to make necessary adjustments to your budget or goals based on changes in income, expenses, or financial priorities. If there's been changes in your income, there has to be changes in the budget, meaning there's something about your lifestyle that will change a bit. And that is okay. That is completely okay. So be honest with yourself and do what's best for you. Number 9 is educate yourself and seek professional advice. That is so important and very key here. Continuously educate yourself about personal finance, right? There's so much information out here, guys. And so even though we may not be an expert in everything, we should have some knowledge or understanding about a lot of things because we have information readily available to us. So educate yourself about personal finance. You can do that through books. You can do that through online resources. There's financial literary courses, literacy courses. I can't speak today. There are coaches online, there's podcasts. I mean, you name it, there's so many resources. And so it's important that we are taking the time and investing in understanding our finances more. So yes, I also want you to consider seeking advice from an advisor. And if you don't have one, either a financial advisor, financial planner, especially if you have a very complex financial matter or complex investments, you definitely want to seek advice from a professional that can really help you understand how to manage it, what you're doing, and that whether or not what you're doing is in your best interest. Number 10 is practicing discipline and patience. Now, this is not easy at all. It's not easy, it's not fun, but it's necessary. So stay committed to your financial plan. I know sometimes you do not want to stick with the plan. Sometimes I don't want to stick with the plan. But even though there's challenging times, if you don't have to, don't dip into your money unless you have to. But being that we're going to have strong emergency funds, they are there just for that, an emergency, right? And so it's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. Exercise discipline in spending and be patient, as financial progress takes time. It does. It takes time. But you can do it. You can do it. take these steps as a starting space for you, right? Starting to make those changes little by little, step by step, one day at a time by following these steps that I shared today and consistently managing your finances, you can empower yourself, truly empower yourself towards financial wellness. And that's what I want for all of us, right? Lay the groundwork for a more secure and a more stable future. That's the goal. Oftentimes, many of us could start the new year in a very financially stressful space, and that doesn't have to be the case. So let's take some time over the next few days and really let's make it happen. Let's assess, right? Let's set clear goals, create a budget, track, monitor our expenses. Let's establish that emergency fund. Let's manage and reduce our debt. Let's save and invest. Let's review regularly what we're doing and spending. Let's be educated and let's get disciplined about our money and put our money on a mission. So I hope that that was super helpful for you to really start thinking about what do I want to see in the upcoming new year and what are some steps I can start applying in my life starting now to start to see those changes. I am rooting for you. I'm excited for you and I am proud of you. So let's go and make this thing happen. And then I want to hear about all your success. Guys, thank you for joining me this year in the Masterpiece Lounge. It has been phenomenal and next year will be even greater. And so I am wishing you all an incredible, blessed, and prosperous new year. And I will see you at the top of 2024. God bless you. I love you. And I'll see you soon. I am signing off until next year. And I'll see you soon, Chrisnatha DeRozier. Until then, be well.